Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Today I'm here to introduce you to my new protocol, ZeroWallet. The rationale behind ZeroWallet really is very simple. I identified a problem with crypto. So crypto deals with private keys. Every time you want to send a transaction, every time you want to access your wallet, you need to make use of your private key. And if somebody gets hold of that private key, well, they can sweep all your funds. So keeping that private key safe is very difficult. On the other hand, while private keys are very secure if kept safely, using them is also very inconvenient. Now I want you to think about a centralized service like PayPal. When you want to send money through PayPal, you just need to make use of a username and a password and you're good to go. But with cryptocurrencies, you need to make use of your private key. You need to sort of get yourself a wallet, use your private key, sign transactions and send them. And that's awfully inconvenient, especially when you consider that private keys are extremely long. It's not really possible to remember them. And anything that till date is password derived can be easily brute forced. So I wanted to create a solution that deals with this problem, that allows users to derive their private keys with the help of just passwords and use them like they were to be used with any other service. And with that thought in mind, I've come up with ZeroWallet, a protocol that allows for privacy, security, and convenience. Now, there are 4 main features that I think really make ZeroWallet different. First of all, security. Many services like Zappo are custodian. They keep control over your private key and you can use your password to sort of get access to the service signs a transaction for you and sends the transaction. With ZeroWallet, we don't have custodian wallets. Your private key always stays with you. We have client-side calculations, so your passwords are never transmitted to the server. Your passwords always stay with you. The server only stores a random key, and that random key is just, well, randomly derived. It has no correlation whatsoever with your final private key. We make use of zero-knowledge cryptography, and the reason we do this is so that the server never learns of your private key, but yet, with the help of the server, you can derive your private key whenever you want to. And with our use of the Opaque Protocol, and specifically oblivious pseudo-random functions, we make brute forcing your password extremely hard. And of course, the last point is that unlike services like BitGo or Green Wallet, which can censor your transactions, they make use of 2 or 3 multi-sig, but every time you want to send a transaction, you need to send it to them. And they can keep track of who you send money to. They can keep track, they can deny transactions. This is not the case with ZeroWallet. Your private key is your private key, and you can use it however you want to. Now, this is our project page, and we do have a live functioning public demo. So let me take you there. There it is. And it's really easy to work with. So we have a username and we have 2 passwords. Now, the reason we have 2 passwords is because we need to make it hard to brute force. So preferably use 2 different passwords and pick a username. So let me pick a username like test, and let me type in my passwords. And then I can just hit equal. And there you go. It generates a private key for you, and it generates a private share. Now if you go ahead and hit print, you can see that it only prints out your private share. And this is because we don't want you storing your private key in any form whatsoever. But with this private share, and with your first password, you can derive your private key even if our service goes down. So I can't emphasize sort of the engineering that's gone behind this project, and perhaps the most interesting is the Opaque Protocol. So this is probably one of the first implementations of a password authenticated key exchange that makes use of oblivious pseudo-random functions. And what it essentially does is it splits your private key into 3 shares. So the first share is simply the hash of your password. The second share is your password transformed by a particular server key. And the third is your backup share. So when you log in through our app, you make use of your first password and the second password. Now this server key, like I said, is a random number. It's 256 bits long. And without access to the service, without, even if an adversary doesn't have access to the service, cracking these 2 passwords becomes extremely difficult. Because even if your password's 10 digits long, the server key is actually around 64 digits long, and brute forcing through all those combinations can be very hard. But even if the service turns malicious, for them to gain access of your account is quite difficult. And that's because they don't really have any private key. They don't even have a complete share with them. They need to test out all the combinations of your first password and your second password until they come to a right one. Now here I also want to emphasize another feature. So if I put in an incorrect password here, so if I just type in some gibberish up here and I press decrypt, it still generates a private key and a private share, because it makes use of Shamir's secret sharing scheme, and a private key and a private share will always be made. But these keys and this share doesn't lead to any useful wallet. I mean, it's probably just an empty wallet right now. So you'll have to try all the combinations. You'll have to check them against the blockchain to see which one has any money in them, and that whole process takes a long time. So I think the crux of this project is that we bring the convenience of brain wallets and the security of multi-sig services together with the help of ZeroWallet. The project is completely open source. We have our entire code up on GitHub, and every bit of the code has been explained in detail. Now before I close off, I do want to acknowledge the role of 3 parties in this project. First of all, of course, it's Professor Miller. Thank you so much for helping me with this project. Frankly, when I came here to UIUC, I had a very basic understanding of zero-knowledge proofs, but with his help, my knowledge of zero-knowledge proofs and cryptography in general has become far better. Second, I have the Opaque Protocol, the authors of the Opaque Protocol, because I think it's frankly one of the best password authenticated key exchange algorithms there, but it's not being made use of. And third, we have Yi Zhang of Peking University, another research scholar here at UIUC, and I'd like to thank him for helping me understand elliptic curve cryptography. Thank you so much, and I'll be more than willing to accept any suggestions and any feedback from you. Thank you.